Welcome to the Wrexham Coffee Matchup. I'm Dave.
And I'm Courtney. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to catch up on the latest news from Wrexham. From matchups to transfers, on and off the pitch, we'll share our takes on it all.
So grab a coffee and join us.
Hey Dave, welcome back.
Hey, how are you this week?
I'm good, despite this last week. How are you?
Well, it wasn't an all bad. It's not a total loss this week. I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually wearing my Black Friday gear that I got from the Wrexham store.
Very nice.
On the Thanksgiving weekend. Got a nice deal, $17 for a polo shirt. That looks pretty good on me, I think. So I was pleased about that.
And how much to ship it over?
It was another $25 to ship it, but it's not the only thing I bought. So it still was cheaper than buying it from the U.S. store. I find that even with the shipping and the tariffs, it's not a bad deal. And it was something to hold me over until our trip in February when we actually get to go into the new Meadowwood store, which looks amazing in the photos. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. We can stock up then.
Yes, we can. So let's start with the Wednesday's Hull City match.
Can we not?
Or should we say the disappointing 2-0 away loss to Hull City? Remember, I had talked about the week before that I had watched the Middlesbrough match where Middlesbrough just absolutely destroyed Hull on the Friday beforehand. And everyone was saying that Hull's going to determined to come back. And they absolutely did. But you made a comment pretty much, I don't know, pretty early in the match to me that was just if we pretend we didn't watch it, can we act like it didn't happen and not talk about it? Which I think we need a few of those every year, don't we? There's like we're not going to come out our best every time. But it was a really sad way to end our 9-match lossless streak, and in a big way. And it didn't help that Parkey was actually not on the bench, not at the front of the line, because he had 3 yellow cards prior to that, and so he had to serve sort of the game up in the stands, connected by his iPhone and making visual signals from the stands. But they kept cutting to him, and a couple times, just the look on his face captured really, I think, how everyone watching was feeling. And I think it was even more astute to the people who were watching from home. I think when you're in there, you can't really catch these things, but it's like the energy level.
No, when it's the full screen on your TV at home. Yeah.
Of
a little
your
hard
disappointing
to
face. But just like energy levels were low. We never really got going from the beginning. And the substitutions when they came in just didn't really change anything. And I can't even think, honestly, looking back at the match and having watched the highlight recap, I can't even think of one positive thing to really bring up about this match, other than just to say we showed up, we played. We'll play them again later in the year, and we'll do better. I think what I
we hope.
So. We hope we'll do better. So it's hard to do worse. So, what did you think about the match? If I needed to ask, but
yeah, I mean, we came out, and all I could think was, we're playing against Tony the Tiger with the stripes on their uniforms. And it was very soon after that I thought, well, we are not playing so great today. It just felt like nothing went our way, and just nothing felt right. I've really been, instead of talking about the match, I'll talk about our Blue Sky family, because I have really enjoyed being on Blue Sky and engaging with our friends on Blue Sky while watching the match. And I don't remember who it was, but someone said a couple of things. One, we have not put 3 passes together all match. That was a very astute observation. And the other one, which did make me chuckle, at least, probably the only time I chuckled all match, was they said something along the lines of, it looks like when someone from Wrexham gets the ball, they're surprised to have it and say, oh no, there you go, and pass it back to Hull City.
I do agree. Watching matches with the Blue Sky family, I'll call them, is a lot of fun, because I just put my feed on the Ask Wrexham feed and just constantly update it. And even though Blue Sky is not a huge social media app in terms of usage, the people who are there and are engaging are really interactive. And I feel like everyone's kind of coming from the same perspective. There's not people on there who are haters of Wrexham commenting on the Wrexham matches. People who are there because they love the team. They want us to win. They want us to do well. And I think we all have fun watching each other, kind of feed off each other. It's like I said a few weeks ago, it's like being in a bar with your friends watching the match.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
And one of the friends often is Mark, who reads out these comments in real time and makes comments about them. And so it's like he's part of the gang that's all hanging out and sort of analyzing the match as we go. So I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah. And moving on.
And moving on.
And moving on. I would like to now bring us to match day 21 against Watford at home, and the return of Ollie Watch 2.0, Ollie Rathbone. Finally, after I don't know how long, but it seems like a lifetime. The first half of the first half, I think I wrote to you, I said, what a change from Wednesday. Like, here we are. And almost as soon as I said it, like, it just started rolling downhill. We didn't play poorly, but we definitely didn't play well. I will say I learned some new offsides rules. I think that I've gotten pretty good at spotting offsides, particularly the last couple of years as I've watched much more. And when we almost had this goal, I guess we'll call it an attempt, I'm like cheering because I thought, yeah, we got a goal. And my Luca looks at me and he says, no, that's not a goal. I said, what do you mean? He said it's offsides. So I learned new offsides rules, that every attempt on goal, like, it resets, which makes no sense to me. I mean, it does, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, so my 70s growing up watching professional soccer in the 70s was, I believe, way back then, as long as it was in the box, then the play continued until it was out of the box. And so they didn't have something like this. So that in the 70s in US soccer, that would have been a goal. And I think that
so I'm just working from the old rules. That's all it is.
just 50 years ago, the rules from 50 years ago. But I think that I agree that I was shocked to see that wasn't a goal, and I was very disappointed. And we've had those over the years where we thought that was in. But what I also noticed is that what that would have done to change the tone of the match without substitutions, without other changes, I think the energy just would have kicked us up and would have given us another opportunity to further put it away. So it was disappointing that it didn't count.
Yeah. I don't know if we had made that, if that had been a goal, would Ollie Rathbone have come in? I mean, this is the big, chicken and the egg problem. That I mean, I don't know, because that was a shock. I think a lot of people thought, really, right now, what's going to happen? And then he showed everybody what was going to happen.
Well, I think that we didn't realize is that coming in at 90 minutes, we are just about to see that we got 6 extra minutes added on. But we didn't expect that the 6 extra minutes was actually going to turn out to be 10 or 11 extra minutes. And it was an incredibly wild last 10 minutes where pretty much Watford threw every kick, smear, punch they could to try to get back and to end this game. But for him to come on first minutes of the championship season since his injury last summer, to come in and instantly remind us what we've been missing when we didn't have him on the pitch. Why we love him, why he was such an important player last season for us. And
is it really the first time that he's come on? I thought he came in for a couple of minutes before he got re-injured.
Yeah, I think this was his first minutes he's been on the bench, but he has not made it onto the field. Okay. And so to be on the field for less than 2 minutes and not just make a goal, but make an incredibly beautiful goal. Just kind of, I think I was actually, so in the second half, I was out at a 10K. and I was listening with the audio, and it was very hard for me to not scream out loud in public with hundreds of people around when he made that
Running
goal,
across the
because
finish line.
you just felt like the energy coming through you.
Yeah.
And I think that, let's just look at the match as a whole again. We made 5 change-ups, right? And
Yeah.
so I think we made important change-ups, and it shows that we have that depth to be able to do it. I think that Windass did come out very strong in the first half. He was looking very impressive, and I think he was wanting to show that he's worthy of being a regular starter as well. But I think that once they got, like Watford had opportunities that just, it gave them the edge, and it took us a while to come back from it. But like, it's hard. Like with second half, we just couldn't really get started. And I think it was that 10 or 15 minutes of the beginning of the second half, that if we had come out with the dedication that we came out with in the first half, that would have given us a different edge, right?
Yeah.
And it was right. I think that we've talked about O'Brien before, and his sort of, he's got a great energy. He's great at moving the ball. He's not good at finishing.
And
when
it's
he
funny
has the
because
opportunities.
when you'd said, you sent me a message, you said, all right, five change-ups or 5 changes in the lineup. I thought, okay, let me go immediately. And one of the first things that I said to you was, ooh, O'Brien's back in the start. I like that, because that's what I was remembering was the speed. I was remembering finding those opportunities. I had blacked out the missing of the opportunities.
Right. And so I think it was right to pull him off at 60, bring on Broadhead. And this is not the first time we've seen Broadhead and Windass and more all together. And then Parkey doubled down at 75, and he brought in Ryan Hardy, who we hadn't seen in quite a while. So we had 4 strikers on the pitch at one point.
And then Ollie Rathbone scores.
And then Ollie Rathbone comes in and scores.
I love it.
But I think that this is showing the willingness to say that we have the opportunities. There was a lot of opportunities that we couldn't convert in the second half. Let's just keep throwing everything at them. Let's keep pushing at them, because we did shift the percentage of time that we held the ball in the second half was much better than the first half. And so I think that, like, looking back, yes, we'll probably say we played 1,000 times better than we did against Hull City, but I don't think in the second half we played as bad. Gotcha. I was about to repeat myself there. But I don't think we played as bad in the second half as we felt we played. And I think that was just because we were so desperate to get another win. And so I think
because it felt like there were so many things that we just couldn't, like, that it was almost there. And I think that makes it feel like more of a struggle. That makes it feel more difficult when it's, you feel like, oh, we're just almost there, but we can't quite make it.
Right. So we ended the week with a draw. And so we got a point for the week. So we'll take that point.
We did.
We'll move ahead. But there was an interesting point about the Watford match that I wanted to ask you a question about this week. Okay. So as you notice from the constant close-up footage, Rob and Ryan were at the match this week, and they haven't been to too many matches during this season.
No, they haven't.
But as I was watching, and you're listening to the commentary, and you're sort of like looking at the interactions of the other Blue Sky fans who are watching and sort of reading about the match, I noticed that for me, it felt like this is the season where Rob and Ryan being the owners of Wrexham isn't the big story, right? To me, the big story is we're this team that has made promotion after promotion after promotion. We're now pulling together a championship level team, and we're showing up and we're showing that we can compete in the championship. And so I feel like now Rob and Ryan are almost just the owners. They're not the key focus of the team. And I think that's maybe from our fan perspective, because of those of us who've come to really love the team so much. But like when I'm watching the matches, I don't even think about the documentary anymore. I think about the team, where they are and how they're playing. And then when the documentary will come out at the end of the season, it will help remind me and kind of help us get to know some of these people better. But I feel like it's no longer the key focus of everything Wrexham, except if you're against Wrexham, then you use that as the key focus in every argument you have. So what do you think about that? Yes.
I think that's true. I think that's fair. I don't know exact numbers. I wonder if this is the first season. I don't think it is. But I wonder if this is the first season where the amount of money that we've had, or the amount of money that we've spent, has not been the highest or among the highest, right? I mean, you have teams that have come from the Premier League. You have teams that have been in the championship for a long time who have done well. Maybe they've played in, the Champions League. Teams that have previously played in the Premier League, in the that's when I mean to say Champions League, in the Europa Cup, like all of these like big tournaments on a like much bigger scale than just English football. These teams have massive, massive budgets. And we're not at the top of that this year. And so kind of maybe by default that shifts it a bit. My thoughts on the documentary are a little bit different than yours. When I'm watching, I do think about it, but more as a reflection, right? What do I know about this player? And that I know because I've watched the documentary and followed them on social media, and all of these other things. But it's true, it does seem to be less of a storyline this year. I know there's also been some kind of personal reasons that Ryan Reynolds has stayed out of the spotlight, particularly the last year or so with legal drama. And so maybe that's a part of it too. He's just been out and about less, so you can't have as many stories. I don't know, but it doesn't feel as present.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing.
No,
I think it's a good thing for the team.
The focus is the team.
And the focus is the team, and the focus is how we're doing in the Championship League, and how long will it take us to get to Premier League and meet those goals that they set. And so
and when is the cop going to be ready?
I had the last I saw was early 2027. So.
No, I know, but I'm saying like that's what we're focusing on, right?
Yes, so that's the first thing we look at is every match is home match is have they actually dug anything in the hole, any holes in the ground,
or at least like move something around a little bit, right?
No, because your little one, he pays attention to that when he looks.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, I don't think he pays attention to like across matches, but it's more like, ooh, something that can dig.
Okay, so what do we have coming up for us, Courtney?
We have 2 matches the next 2 weeks, and both on a Friday. Let's see how that goes for us. This coming Friday, the 19th of December, we will play Swansea City away at their stadium. They're currently ranked 19th. Then the following Friday, the 26th of December, we'll be home versus Sheffield United, which are currently 18th. And you have some things to share about Swansea, don't you?
Yes, I did a little extra homework over the last week. So I was looking them up, and I saw that, this will be the first time that we're playing Swansea City in a league match since 2003. And interestingly, I think I mentioned this before, is that this is one of the matches that in the US at the Cosm, which is like an interactive dome, where they showed 3 matches last season. This is the first match this season that they'll be showing live, so I can go to a place to watch a really unusual version of the match, because when you're there you feel like you're actually in the stadium and sometimes even on the field while watching. It's a very overwhelming and very fun experience. So I'll be watching that, and interestingly, the chance to meet a few other Wrexham fans, but also social media has also promoted that currently one of the minority investors of Swansea City, recent minority investor, is Snoop Dogg. And Snoop Dogg will be in attendance.
Is he going to be there?
Yeah, so because the Swansea Supporters Association is getting their fans out as well. So it'll be an interesting, because I know last year Rob and his wife went to 2 of the 3 matches, not the one I went to, but they went to 2 of them. And so it'll be interesting to see if maybe they come as well. So it'll be quite the celebrity viewing. It'll be fun to watch. But when I was reading and learning about the team, I realized that they have a very interesting backstory as well. And it's almost, in some ways, it mirrors the story of Wrexham or other teams that I think have gone through these periods. So they were on, Swansea City was on the brink of bankruptcy back in the 2001-2002 season. And there was a threat that they actually would have been relegated out of the English Football League, so down into the national leagues. They sold their team to a Australian businessman for £1. And he was not able to turn the team around over like an 18-month or so period. And there was, threats that the team would even go away if they had to go into bankruptcy completely. So a coalition of local fans banded together, raised money, and bought the team. And they bought the team, and over the course of about
Wait, for how much?
9 years, I believe they raised £300,000 between them, but they ended up buying the team for about £20,000. So crazy. It was like, we'll give you the money just to get you out and we'll take over. Yeah. So they had some equity in their raising to kind of help them operationally and such. Yeah. And over the course of the next 8 or 9 years, they actually were successfully able to build a team, and they made it all the way up to the Premier League in 2011. And the reason why I found out more about this story than what you can just read online is that in 2014, it was actually the subject of a documentary called Jack to a King, which I was able to rent on Apple TV. So I paid $4.99 or whatever and rented this movie. It was a really interesting. Nice. So in 90 minutes, they covered the whole thing from the bankruptcy to the change of ownerships, all the way up to their winning at Wembley in the championship playoffs in 2011. Wow. It was a really interesting documentary. I saw a lot of similarities and a lot of, obviously, some differences as well. But what I appreciated about the Wrexham documentary is the amount of time and depth that they are able to put as a series into something that covers this big span of time versus this that was a local independently funded documentary that while people in the town probably got a lot of it, there's probably a lot of details that flew over people's heads. But it was a really interesting watch, and I would recommend if someone loves sports documentaries and wants to see the underdog succeed, Jack to a King is the name of the movie. So they were up in the Premier League from 2011. They did very well for a while. They were then relegated out of the Premier League in 2018. And so they've been in the Championship League ever since. So they've had a good solid run between Premier League and Championship League. So I think even though they're currently 19th, there's still going to be a strong test, as all of these matches are that we've seen.
And as we've talked about, there are so few points that separate, right, this kind of middle bunch in the table. So.
Right. And just to mention that this Swansea City match and the Sheffield United match on the 26th, at that point, we'll have completed the first half of our season. So these are the last two teams that we have not played yet for this season. And then we start again right on the 29th. So the period between the 26th and January 4th is incredibly packed with matches. And actually right after that, we have the FA Cup match on the 9th. So from the 26th straight through the 9th, it's going to be go, 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 go. So hopefully they get some rest this week. Get some good rest, some good practice, get some recovery, and come out on the 19th ready to go. So
keep our fingers crossed. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us this week. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
You can also email us at wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. All one word, that's wxmcoffeematchup@gmail.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Bluesky at wxmcoffeematchup.
From the cop to your coffee cup, that's all for today's Wrexham Coffee Matchup. Keep it brewing, keep it red, and as always, up the town.